All right, it's another Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, Eastern Standard Time, of course. And you know what that means. It's another episode of Talking Nerdy. I'm Scott. With me, as always, is my hetero life mate, Joe. Joe, what's happening?
A lot, but not too much, man. How you doing?
You know, I'm living the dream.
Yeah.
Although a nightmare is a kind of dream, so take it for what it's worth.
Yeah.
But things are good. You know, I mean, busy.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting into, convention season.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of cons coming up. You and I are going to be very, very busy in March and April.
Even February, ZoloCon.
Yep, ZoloCon. That's right. I forgot
Yep.
we have one in February
And
too.
we're gonna meet up with Big Nerdy, Nerdzoic. He's let's just say me and him did a couple things together here, project wise, and they're not out yet, but they will be out. But me and him also talked about meeting up there and doing a little hunting and stuff. And
oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. So he's a cool dude, and he owns his own store. So if you see anything you want, there you go.
Hey, got to have those connections, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, look, ZoloCon's coming up. That's mainly a toy collecting show. Believe it or not, this is going to be my first foray into a toy-only collecting show. So I'm going to film a little bit of content, and Joe and I will put it together, and we'll show it on the pod, so that you can kind of get a little bit from my perspective as a person that has never been to one of these shows, what it's like Joe did on his channel for his first foray at Monster Mania back in November. And then in March, Joe and I have Monster Mania in Cherry Hill. A lot of great guests at that one, dude. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
From the whole cast almost of Sons of Anarchy to the girl that was in the costume for Megan. The Terrifier cast is back, with the addition of the little pale girl this time.
Yeah.
It's really, really going to be a great show. I've already got a couple of photo ops purchased. I'm going to meet Charlie Hunnam on that Friday from Sons of Anarchy. He was Jax. And then I actually bit the bullet and I got a photo op with the girl from Megan. She's going to be in the costume. I had to do it. I loved it. The movie was fantastic.
Yeah, I better catch up on what I want. I haven't really even looked, but
time to get cut. Now's the time to do it. So, so for anybody that's going to be at the Cherry Hill Monster Mania, I'm planning on being there Friday and Sunday. So, leave us a chat, send us an email, and, maybe we'll do a little meetup at the bar at the hotel. So, before we get too deep into the pod, thank you all once again for watching. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button so when we go live every other Tuesday. I want to say what's up to our normal viewers, EC, T3. Thank you for checking in tonight, guys.
What's up, my brothers?
Yeah, so Easy, I'm really surprised. Easy did not like the Megan movie. I get it. It wasn't your typical horror movie, but I kind of liked the concept and the story. And, look, she was badass at the end.
I have not seen it yet. I plan on seeing it soon.
Yeah, look, it was definitely it was a Blumhouse film. If you liked Black Phone, you'll probably dig this.
I did like Black Phone. I thought Black Phone was pretty cool.
Yeah, and this was a solid. Like I said, it wasn't overly gory. It wasn't overly scary. It was solid.
Mm-hmm.
But look, not everybody's going to like it. We don't always have to agree. And look, EC didn't think it was anything special. I get it. Look, I thought there were a few parts where it was a little slow, but I thought overall the concept was very clever, especially as we move into this day and age where everything seems to be AI driven. Look, I mean, this is how the Terminators took over the world, Joe.
Go ahead. Well, I was just gonna change the subject to how much I'm really liking The Last of Us.
I still haven't watched it. I suck.
Where?
Where?
Well, right behind you to the left. Behind that one picture.
Yeah, right. No, that would be short. So, yeah, I have to get caught up on it. Look, I read a little bit about this third episode, and a lot of people are having so many issues with the gender fluidity of some of the characters. that the game maker had to actually put out a statement.
Mhm.
I find that very interesting. I mean, look, and I kind of agree that a lot of people were giving him a hard time because it's not like a shot for shot remake of the game. I mean, God's honestly, if you want a shot for shot remake, just go back and play the game.
Just play the game, right?
Right.
There's certain things you have to do on a show or a movie that you obviously don't do in the game. I thought the episode was fucking amazing. I
Sure.
looked past all that because it didn't really bother me at all. It was a story of two people, and through the years, and at first, to be honest with you, I thought when he first let that guy in his house, he was going to kill him.
Oh,
I
now
really
remember,
did.
I haven't watched it. No spoilers, you bastard.
Okay, so now I just fucked it up for you, but whatever. You got to get on it, dude.
Thanks.
But I thought it was a really
Ruiner.
solid episode. I thought it was a solid episode on how they looked back and explained a lot of things. Because you got to remember, this show starts out and then immediately goes 20 years in the future.
Right. Well,
So you need some backstory on a movie, on a show like that. You have to have that.
Well, and think about this too. In the video game, you don't get a ton of backstory. So, you're playing through a scenario.
Mhm.
So this actually gives you an opportunity to give context and depth to your character.
Right.
So I find it very interesting. I mean, because there's going to be a lot of these shows that are coming out. They're doing an Assassin's Creed show on Netflix.
Mhm.
And look, as a guy that has played every single Assassin's Creed game, and that is my go-to, candidly, I'm not expecting a shot-for-shot remake. The movie was good. I mean, it wasn't amazing. It wasn't like Oscar quality, but it wasn't as bad as other people said either, because it was an adaptation based on a video game.
Right.
Which is what I absolutely assume the TV show will be like.
Mhm.
I think enough people, just kind of look for any reason to bitch. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I didn't hear too much about people bitching. I did see something on the news about it, but I was just like, it is what it is, man. That you had to do some backstory. Otherwise, it's just going to get stale doing the same thing over. Like I said, there's a 20-year span. You need to explain something.
You already know what happens.
Yeah.
If you've played the game, you already know what happens.
I have not played the game. I got part 2. I have not played part 1 yet.
Yeah, you're missing out.
Actually, I think I'm not. I'd rather just watch the show.
No. What I'm saying,
compare.
Well, no, from a video game standpoint, the gameplay is amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure. Just like Resident Evil, I've always loved that.
Yeah.
But the movie I didn't like, or the movies I didn't really care for.
No, I agree with you.
But this I think I'm in better shape not playing the game, and just having an open mind on the show.
Sure.
Which is why I guess I love it so much, and I can't wait till the following Sunday to watch the next one. It's that good for me.
Oh,
I needed something to sink my teeth into like that, and then also You is coming back out.
Yep. Next
Thursday.
This
Thursday.
This weekend, yeah.
9th, yeah.
Yeah, You is back.
2-parter they're doing.
Yeah, well, the season's broken into 2 parts, which is weird because they're only going to release part 1 and part 2 a month apart.
Yeah,
Why
it
not
doesn't
just
make
do it
much
all?
sense because I think you're going to have 4 episodes anyway, right? In a month,
something like that. But I mean, well, look, what they'll do is they'll drop all 4 in one day.
Yeah,
but they're going
to technically. Yeah, technically though, like you're waiting a month, but technically, if they were doing a week by week, you'd have 4 for the whole month. So I don't know what their point is on doing that, but whatever. At least I won't watch all 10 or 8, whatever it is, in one day, and I'll get a chance to spread it out a little bit.
Yeah. By the way, I finished that 90s show over the weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. As somebody that I mean, look, I graduated high school in the 90s, as did you. So, the music was like right in that wheelhouse. It was, a lot of flannel and Green Day t-shirts. And, it was interesting from that context because, that was right around that time. By the way, story still held up. They had some cameos from people in the original show. It's already been renewed for season 2. It's 10 episodes. It was a quick watch. You had a cold last weekend, so I blew through them pretty quick. So it was overall a good watch. I recommend it if you just need like a mindless something to watch while we're waiting for some other things to hit. It's worth it. I'd recommend.
Yeah, I have a lot of mindless stuff I could be watching. I just have not sat still much lately.
Well, you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot in the world.
Yeah.
So, look, the name of the episode tonight is Got to Go Back in Time. Clever play on words from the Huey Lewis and the News song from Back to the Future. But what we were talking about last time was going back and looking at some of our favorite shows that had the best and worst last episodes of all time. So, Joe and I were talking a little bit about this earlier today via text because one of us works really hard and one of us hardly works, and I'll let you determine who's who. So Joe, does anything immediately come to mind to you of shows that had the best endings of all time?
Best endings.
Yeah, like it closed the loop. It gave you the best sense of closure.
Let me think for a minute on that. See, when I'm immediately thinking sitcoms, and I didn't really do my homework. Obviously, this couple weeks has been a blur. Yeah, I got to come back to that. There's a few sitcoms I know that you really can't screw them up much. I mean, they come out, do their bow, thank you, whatever. Everybody goes their separate ways. But I'm trying to think, besides The Sopranos, man, none of them are really hitting me right now, The Sopranos, I don't even think ended the way it could have, but I mean, they did do about as best job as they could do, and I can't complain about it. I do love that show.
Oh, look, candidly, The Sopranos would be what I would consider one of my worst endings of all time. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we talked a little bit about that. So, look, I'll hit you with one of my favorites.
Okay.
One of my favorite endings of all time. And if you, depending on the list that you look at, it's top 5 in a lot of them. 6 Feet Under. It was a show on HBO. It was a David Chase show. He did a lot of like really clever TV shows back in the 90s and the 2000s. But it was about a family that owned a funeral home. And every week a different person died, and that was kind of how the show started. And it was about this family and their entire journey. So I'll be honest, to me, you go through all these seasons of this show and so much death and everything, and they get to the end of this and they're telling all of these 5 or 6 stories that kind of conjoin at the very end of the show. It is probably one of the most perfect endings of a TV show you will ever see. You get the most amazing amount of closure for every character. I mean, there is not one thing left open that you would say, oh my God, they need to go back and do this, or they need to go back and do that.
I have not watched many episodes of that show. I have watched it, but
go back. HBO Max has it. For those of you that have not seen it, it still holds up to this day. I've gone back and rewatched it. The guy who was in Dexter was his first major TV role was 6 Feet Under. It was actually the show he did right before Dexter. So he was on this show for 6-7 seasons, and then the show ended and he rolled right into Dexter for another 6 or 7. So that'll lead me to one of my worst endings of all time. Dexter, the original version of Dexter, not once they came back with New Blood. So to me, Dexter was, for those of you that don't know or have lived under a rock, the show Dexter is about a blood spatter scientist named Dexter Morgan who lived in Miami, worked for the Miami Metro Homicide Unit, and was a serial killer. And he goes through, but he only killed people that deserved it, that were bad people. So they had to live up to some kind of code that was set up for him by his adoptive father, who was a police officer. So what made this show even crazier is that his sister on the show, who actually at one time was his real life wife, actually was a police sergeant. So they go through all these seasons of, great story after great story after great story, because every year he's got this one major bad guy he's chasing, right? They get down to the last season and they bastardized the show. They had this whole thing where Dexter's sister was in love with him, and Dexter was in this love triangle with another serial killer, and he had a baby, and it just made absolutely zero sense where they kill his sister off at the end of the show, and he drives his boat out into the middle of a hurricane and disappears, and the show ends with him sitting in a log cabin in Oregon. That's it. Him sitting there with a beard, fade to black.
I'm glad I didn't watch that either, because it sounds like
Look.
I didn't miss out.
Look, you would admit every season except for the very last one before you get to New Blood was gold, complete gold. They actually just announced that they're going to do a prequel series for Dexter as a teenager.
Jeez.
They announced it today. I will watch that because that will be a great story
Who's
to tell.
playing?
Now, they haven't announced that. They just announced the show. They haven't cast it yet.
Oh, okay.
But it'll definitely be worth a watch. EC, agree. All-time favorite show. You know, and Joe, you have got to watch it. I mean,
I may
look,
go back. I've been meaning to go back and watch that.
but what you do is make sure you watch. You don't stop at the end of the regular Dexter seasons. You go into Dexter New Blood, which is the continuation, and it closes the series out perfectly. But I will always count that bastardized last season as a terrible ending for the original Dexter. Having met Anthony Michael Hall, who played, or Michael Anthony Hall, who played Dexter, or Michael C. Hall, he actually would go on record saying, I hated the way that show ended, and I always looked for an opportunity to come back.
I was gonna say Anthony Michael Hall. Shit, I need to watch this now. That's my man.
Sorry, I had him on the brain.
Yeah.
So, does anything, after talking about that, does anything come to mind?
Not really.
All right, I'll roll into another good ending then.
All right, go ahead. You're on a roll.
TV show that was on FX in the 90s, The Shield. Okay? It was actually written.
But again, didn't watch it.
The Shield was an amazing show. It was about a corrupt task force. Like, they were called the Strike Team. They were an anti-gang task force in Los Angeles. They worked in one of the poorest areas, gang-ridden areas, but they were corrupt. Followed them around for all these years. It finally caught up with them at the end, where the leader of this gang unit actually got full immunity in a deal with the FBI because he took a job with the ICE unit, and ends up confessing to all his crimes, and he's the only one that got away with it. Other people got arrested or died or killed themselves. I'm giving nothing away. The show's been out for 20 years.
Yeah.
But Michael Chiklis was in it. By the way, it's on Hulu. If you get a chance, it is an amazing show. Like, literally, we watched it. My brother and my sister-in-law watched it. My brother and I watched it when it was on originally. And when my sister-in-law watched it, there were just various points where she would call me afterwards and yell at me because none of us warned her about the episode, because of how gut-wrenching some of the shit is.
Yeah.
And I guess conversely, as I go backwards, a really bad ending was Lost. The TV show Lost. Candidly, they lost me several seasons in, but the ending was just absolutely. They were dead the whole time. Come on, man, we knew that.
Yeah, it looks like EC said that too.
Yeah, so he did.
Yeah.
EC completely agreed, dude. Lost was terrible at the end.
Again, that's another show that it seems like I would like, but I just never got around to watching it.
I'll be honest, save yourself.
I guess I didn't watch as much TV as I thought. I mean, I watched a lot of sitcoms growing up and a lot of movies, but I guess I missed a lot of these series. I wasn't really dedicated to watching them every week because you couldn't watch them boom, boom, boom in a row like you can now. So that's
because
why.
You live in a riddled age, Joseph.
Yes.
And I'll be honest, EC, I agree. I loved Lost when it first hit. I thought the concept was amazing, but that show really just tailed off. It jumped the shark 3-4 seasons in. it got really, really bad there towards the end, where literally you kept watching it because literally you just needed to see one, how ridiculous it would get, and two, how were they going to land this plane? No pun intended. So, all right. So I'm going to go to a sitcom. All right. So
let's do sitcoms. This should be good.
All right. So a sitcom that had a perfect ending. Cheers.
I was going to say Cheers. Bastard.
Cheers.
Bastard. That's mine. Cheers was a horrible show all the way around.
I mean, look, Sam Malone gives up a chance to go back with Diane and stays in Boston. And, as he looks out at the end and, flips the lights off, bars close, fade to black, it was perfect. 100% perfect. Shitty ending on a sitcom? Seinfeld.
I never watched it.
Really? You were never the master of your own domain?
I hear people talking about this and that. I never liked that guy. That or the Raymond show. Them fucking guys drive me nuts. I can't watch that.
Raymond. Oh.
Yeah, I can't watch that shit. I always I like the goofy ones like King of Queens. I liked King of Queens was really good to me, like for a while there. I don't know. A lot of things happened I could relate to on that show, I guess. I don't know. It was just it was a goofy, normal sitcom, but I liked it. I just really could never get into Seinfeld or Raymond. I gave Frasier a shot when Cheers went off and then he had his own show.
And that wasn't a bad show.
It wasn't a bad show. And the fact that it was actually a spinoff where he was still a psychiatrist and all that, was cool and all, but I just couldn't get into it. I gave it a shot for a few episodes though.
Sure. No, I get it. Look, and look, Seinfeld's not for everybody, but it was in that vein of like, there was always like a really funny one-liner or something that you took away from it. Like the black and white cookie or the marble rye or something. There was always something, but I get it. It wasn't for anybody. And look, towards the end, it did get old. I actually tried to watch a Seinfeld episode the other night, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I totally understand. I could never do it.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. So, another sitcom that had probably as perfect an ending, and I think our buddy Gianni would completely agree with what I'm about to say, MASH. Now, it was a little bit before our time.
Yeah, I never watched it either. I hated MASH and all them Army shows. The only Army or Navy or Marine show I ever watched was Gomer Pyle. Gomer Pyle, believe it or not. I'm telling you, man. Like
surprise.
Sergeant Carter. Yeah, all that, man. That was funny shit back then, man.
Look, MASH was a really clever show because it launched a lot of careers, but it also mixed a lot of drama with a lot of comedy, more comedy than drama. But the ending to that show when it was like it was the most watched series finale of all time. Which look back, and then, by the way, that record I think still stands. Our buddy Gianni would certainly probably agree with us on that. Although look, he's the same guy who has like MASH paraphernalia all over his house.
Jesus. Hey, speaking of Gianni, it was funny the other day. My wife comes to me and says, "Hey," she sent me a picture on Messenger. Is from the TV, from the news. She's like, "Is that Gianni?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's one of the announcers on the soccer team or whatever the fuck that is.
He's the general manager."
Oh, that too. Yeah, that too. But yeah, she was like, "I didn't know that. Like, I had no idea that he did that." And I'm like, "Yeah, it was just funny."
Yeah, so really, really funny how so for those of you that are following along, our buddy Gianni is the general manager. Yes, they have general managers for indoor soccer.
Yeah, see, indoor, outdoor. I don't really like.
I didn't even know it was a thing. See, look, to me, soccer, while a lot of people love it, it's not for me.
Not for
me. To me, I view it as a complicated version of keep away.
It's a big field, man. Like I
It
die
is.
running that son of a bitch all day. Let me say
Look, I
hi
can
to somebody in the
like
chat.
walking down the
So,
stairs.
Appetite for Collectibles, welcome to the show. This young lady will be on our other podcast, Well That Effing Figures, on 3/19, March 19th at 9 a.m. So that'll be a cool one. But thanks for joining tonight on Talking Nerdy too. I appreciate that.
Yeah, welcome on in. Well, and look, what we're talking about are kind of best and worst show endings of all time. Joe didn't do his homework,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm kind of carrying the ball a little bit here.
I had some
So
other things to take care of. I couldn't.
you did.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. Let's just say that, but
So let's see. All right. So we talked about MASH.
so best ending, worst ending, all that crap aside, what's your favorite sitcom of all time? Pick one.
Ooh, Pick one.
Pick one.
God.
Don't say the Golden Girls because if you do, I quit the show. Although that was a good one.
Well, it has to
can't
be
your favorite. It can't be your favorite.
God, that is such a good question because there are just so many good ones. I'll be honest. One of my favorite all time that I could probably watch over and over and over again, 30 Rock. Tina Fey is a national treasure.
If you say so. That's another one I never watched.
Dude, Peacock, get on it. Some of the
Oh, my
funniest
goodness.
episodes, Tracy Morgan is on that.
Mhm.
And they let him go on and script it.
I don't even know what my favorite one would be. I'm going to say something. You know, I got to say Night Court.
Oh, have you watched the remake, by the way?
It's on my list too, dude. It's like I got between you and Colin, I have a list from here to probably Colin's house in Wisconsin on what I need to watch and catch up on. So I got a lot of TV to watch. I don't even know if I have enough time to do that in my lifetime. It's ridiculous. But Night Court, I would have to say between Night Court and Cheers. I also got to throw Family Ties in too, man. That was a good one. Hey, Mallory, remember the boyfriend that looked like Rambo? You remember him?
Nick.
Mm-hmm. I mean, who's the boss? I mean, there's so many of them. Do you remember any of the songs though? Can you bust out a song for me right now? The opening song from any show. Do you know any?
Well, we all know the Golden Girls song.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for being a friend.
Traveled down the road and back again.
The heart is.
Hey, we're gonna lose people if you keep this shit
up.
up.
We lost 2 people already.
We're trying to gain watchers, not lose them. So
we suck.
Yeah, it's not good. But anyway.
So I was trying to work a Golden Girls reference in to see if you would lose your mind.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if there is a TV show, and let's stay away from like sitcoms, just TV show, favorite TV show of all time.
Tales from the Crypt.
Ooh, such a good one.
Yes.
Thanks, DC. You're right. There does go our viewers. We went down to 1. It's just you. Look, for me, I gotta say, if I had a show that was my favorite of all time, was ER. ER, solid show. Yeah. NBC, George Clooney.
Yep. Not bad.
Yeah,
not bad.
Solid show. It hung on for like 15 seasons.
It did.
And had one of the best endings, one of the best, what I would consider a top 10 ending of all time.
What was the ending? I don't remember. Like, I watched bits and pieces of that show. I didn't watch every one.
So the last episode, Dr. Carter, who was Noah Wiley's character, was still there. He was one of the chiefs of the ER. And literally they had some interns, some new doctors come through. And in the class is Dr. Mark Green, who had died years previous. His daughter was one of the med students. And it kind of was funny. It came full circle because the first episode of ER, Noah Wiley was a fresh-faced med student. And it followed him through pretty much his whole career. Oh, you see, A Law and Order. That's another good one. That one is always on my.
Here's another one that I love this show, and I don't think there's an episode of this show that I did not like. Criminal Minds. What'd you say?
Marie Kondo.
Laverne and Shirley, bitch. No. Criminal Minds. That was a really good show.
I never watched that show.
What?
A lot of and the fact that I love serial killers and true crime and everything,
You live for serial
I
killers.
just haven't been able to get to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's been look, I watch all 3 Law and Orders that are on, all 3 Chicago shows that are on right now. My wife and I have shows that we watch. It's a wonder I have time to do anything, but I watch a lot of TV while she's asleep. And then I still find time to watch wrestling and talk to you.
Yeah. Speaking of wrestling,
Yes.
it's a good transition, isn't it?
Oh, I see what you did there. It involved.
So, what did you think of Raw last night? I thought that was a pretty solid show.
I got to comment on one thing. EC Mindhunters. I loved that show. And they're talking about bringing it back. David Finch might be bringing everybody back. If they bring that show back, dude, it'll be amazing. It's on Netflix, by the way. If you haven't watched it, folks, jump on Mindhunters. It's about the behavioral sciences unit in the FBI and how they developed the profiling model. Just saying. All right, so WWE this week.
Yes.
All right.
I know you don't want to talk about AEW, right? who?
Fuck that show.
Yeah.
Fuck that show.
I thought Raw was pretty solid last night. What do you think?
It was really good. Look, the matches were great. I thought the segments made a ton of sense. Look, that promo at the end with Cody and Heyman was fire. I mean, they were throwing haymakers.
That was a good one. And really, I don't know if me and you spoke since this happened, but no more Doudrop.
Yeah, no, we have not.
Yeah, Piper
been begging for.
Yes, I've been begging for that one.
We didn't get to talk the weekend of the Rumble because everything going on with you and then me and work. So, I didn't get to watch the Rumble until the next day. I'm sitting in the parking lot at the NFC Championship game because I'm waiting for the Eagles game, and I'm literally watching wrestling on my phone.
Can't beat that.
No, not at all. I mean, literally, it was cool. Blackbird on Apple Plus. I'm gonna have to check that out. I've heard a couple of people mention that. I need to watch that. So last night wrestling was really solid. I'll be honest. I like where they've put kind of the division of the Street Profits a little bit. Both had fire matches. They were just I would have been fine with either one of them winning.
Yeah, I just see so much more in Montez Ford. Going forward, I can see him as a singles champion, no doubt. He has mic skills. He has the physique. He has the wrestling ability. He has everything.
Well, and think about this too, is that, look, they're giving him this platform to have his own TV show with Bianca now. They're going to be that next couple after The Miz and Maurice to have their own show. I don't know what channel it's on, though.
I just look at Dawkins like the Marty Jannetty of the team. I don't see him as a singles competitor. I see him as somebody who, once the team breaks up, he's probably in big, big trouble, to be honest.
Oh, he's going to be on board with the Alpha Academy.
Yeah, and that's pretty much a death sentence because look at these guys. They're not even getting their full potential out there. I would love to see what's his name? Shorty G. Chad Gable just break out on his own again. Because
that would be nice.
I don't think this is doing him any favors by having him in that group any longer. That's my opinion on it. But
so I got to ask your opinion. We haven't talked since the Rumble, really, because everything going on, just little text messages here and there. What did you think of the end?
Well, I was a little tired that night, but I did watch the end the next day. But I liked it. They had to do something quick. If you think about it, they only have a little bit of time between the Rumble and the Elimination Chamber. And they definitely didn't want Sami Zayn not to get a title shot. But he's not going to get a championship.
No.
You know it's going to be Roman versus
Cody.
Cody. Some people are saying they might make it a triple threat. They better not. It would not do any of them any good for it to be a triple threat.
No,
I
I
like
don't think
Sammy, but Cody's the story. Cody's always been the story since he came back. I like what Sammy's doing. I just think he's better suited for a tag team championship match at WrestleMania. So I think they did it good that night. I think they did it pretty good. I mean, they did a good job. I didn't like the rest of the Rumble. It was so predictable that they had to do something at the end. I didn't really expect them to do that night. I expected them to burn it a little bit more.
Here's the piece that kind of threw me a bit. Jey Uso.
Yeah.
I did not expect that reaction. It was almost like he looked and was like, I get it. Because remember, he was forced into the bloodline back then. He had those epic fights with Roman while Jimmy was out. So then he's now the guy that looks and goes, oh, wow.
Well, he's also the guy who hated Sammy. And then they pretty much forced him to accept Sammy. And now that they accepted Sammy, and they kick Sammy out pretty much after he, turns on them and all that. But now he walks away and you don't see him. So are we going to see him at Elimination Chamber? Are we going to see him bring somebody with him at Elimination Chamber?
Are we going to see him show up on Friday night to defend the tag belts?
Yeah, I don't know.
Be interesting. T3, I agree. Chuck needed a better ending. I wish they would bring that back. By the way, rumor is that Zachary Levi, now that he's done his commitments for Shazam, is on board for a Chuck reunion. So he has been asked multiple times at conventions and has always given the answer that once his commitments to Shazam were over, he was on board. So there's another one for you, Joe, if you've never seen it. Chuck.
Have not.
Yeah, it's on Peacock. It was a good show.
There's too many, man. I don't have the time for this. I'll try though.
It's winter, Joe. There's not that much to do.
Yeah, winter for me. Winter for me means with two podcasts, it's kind of busy, and then we do pop-up shows here and there on the other one, and then my other videos that I need to get back to doing, and I plan on having one next Monday. But yeah, man. And then it's just a lot, So.
No, I know. Well, look, it's to entertain the people. It's a commitment. So I guess one of the things I want to mention too is our upcoming schedule. So today is February 7th. 2 weeks from today, the 21st, we will have a regular Talking Nerdy. But then we just found out, this is breaking news, everybody, that on the 28th of February, we will have a bonus.
It'll be the 21st or the 20th. I'm still waiting confirmation. It'll be one of them. I have to find out which one she is going to be able to do.
All right. So we're going to have a very special guest at an upcoming episode. It's either going to be the 21st or the 28th. We're not sure yet. If you show up on the 21st and she's here, you know which one it is. But it is.
Even tell them.
Oh, do you want it to be a surprise?
Should we do that to him at this point? I mean,
no, probably not. Tell him, Joe.
So this young lady was on our other podcast, mine and Collins, and we were talking again, and I told her how much you like horror. So Nightmare Christie has agreed. In principle, I always wanted to say that she has agreed to come on, and I got to make sure. She said the end of the month, so I'm not sure if she's thinking the 21st or the 28th. But even if it is the 28th, we're going to be here 3 weeks in a row. No big deal. We're going to do it, and she'll be on the show 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 21st or the 28th, and I'll get that out there.
And that will be, I'm calling it right now, an all horror episode.
Oh, damn right it will, man. We can't talk wrestling with her. She'll kick our ass.
There will be no wrestling talk.
Hell no.
This will be a bonus all horror episode. I have to figure out what we're going to do, what we're going to talk about. Submit your ideas. I would love to know what her top 5 horror movies are of all time. Since we've done our list, maybe her top 5 horror movie characters of all time would be fun too.
Go back and watch our episode with her on Well That Effing Figures, because some of that might have been covered. You might already have your answers, and we have to think of some new questions. That's a good idea, and it'll give me another like. So go ahead and watch it. See how I did that? It's hard, you know. It's not easy. Two timing, you know, it's not easy. I'm just trying to do the best for all of us, man. That's what I'm trying to do. But yeah, I knew you would enjoy having her on. So when me and her were talking, and she's going to come on the other show again too. She's already said that she had a great time, and we actually had a blast with her. It was so much fun. The hour went by so fast that we definitely are going to have her back on. But she will be here the 21st or the 28th, and just a little different, little Tuesday night, 7 p.m. We'll check her out. See what's going on out there in Las Vegas again.
Yeah, this will be an all horror episode. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about some upcoming horror conventions, and we'll kind of get her thoughts on the convention scene, and if she's ever thought about taking Nightmare Toys out on the road.
Maybe she'll come to the East for some of the shows. We get to meet her. Who knows?
Well, they do a Days of the Dead in Las Vegas. The Days of the Dead convention. They just did one in Atlanta because the Terrifier cast was there a couple weeks ago.
She just went to CreepyCon in California this past weekend.
Oh, CreepyCon is another one that's on my list.
Yeah, me too. I would love that. If TP let me crash at his house, I can come out there next year to CreepyCon.
Sleepover at T3.
That's right.
Who's the big spoon?
Raid the fridge. What's that?
Who's going to be the big spoon?
I'll take one for the team. I don't care. I like to snuggle.
Damn.
Hey, $20 is $20, right?
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. Well, that's awesome. She does conventions, so we can definitely talk about some of her favorite conventions.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even get anywhere near the surface with her, so that's why we're going to have her on again on the other show and here. She might be a little constant. She might be, from time to time, just pop in, and I would love that.
Especially as we get closer to Halloween, it would be great to have her, come up and what are the hot things for Halloween this year? She can be our horror goods expert.
There you go. She does Halloween all year round, so it's really cool. I love Halloween all year round myself.
She's living her best life. She's living the life I want when I she's who I wanted to be when I grew up, but
yeah, we're living vicariously through her.
Yes. Well, if we have to, that's a good person to live vicariously through.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we talked about wrestling. We kind of rounded up.
We didn't mention Jerry the King Lawler. He had a stroke.
Yes.
Yesterday. So I wish him the best, man. 73 years old.
That guy's been through it, though, man. I mean,
he had a heart attack on TV before. Remember that?
He did. And died for like a minute.
Yeah. Right on Raw.
He was clinically dead on TV.
Yeah. Unreal.
That guy's had a just hard living, man.
Yeah, then he lost his son, and Brian Christopher a few years back. Well, a lot of years back now. But yeah, he's not had an easy one.
No, he hasn't. So
we wish
he was supposed to be at Chiller convention that I look at going to in New Jersey. He was supposed to be there in April. They just announced Coco Beware is going to be there, dude. And Jimmy Hart.
Speaking of the Celeb Fest that we went to months and months ago together, they had one this past weekend too. I think we missed out. Remember I told you and you said you had something going on, but then so did I, so I wouldn't have been able to go anyway. But they had Ric Flair there and Lex Luger was there and down in Baltimore. Yeah.
That was a mixture of them. That was like wrestlers and sports people I saw.
And now it'll be this. Pete Rose was there this time too. Yeah.
Yeah. What was I doing last weekend? Oh, I was at a concert.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But they're coming back. Is it May? I think so. Maybe we'll have to talk about that one.
Yeah, it's down in Carroll County.
You might
So,
want
well,
to. Ric Flair's one of the autographs I kind of want and a picture with him because he's getting there, man. And I would love to
my
meet
man ain't
him.
gonna be around forever.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't want to say it just like that, but yeah.
Fair.
I was kind of beating around the bush on that one, but yeah, I like to get his autograph and picture with him.
Haha. No, I did not go see the Spice Girls. That was Joe. For me, it was Alter Bridge on Sunday. So when they played Edge's theme song at the end, I was trying to spear people in the crowd.
That was the one I was supposed to go with you, but I just didn't want to.
There's too much going on.
Yeah.
Just got a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's a good show. They played for an hour and 45 minutes. I'll be honest, though, the opening band was Eddie Van Halen's son, Wolfgang.
Mm-hmm.
His band, Mammoth WVH.
Pretty good.
They were fantastic.
Good.
Pull up their album on iTunes if you get a chance and give it a listen. It's like 18 songs.
What are they called again?
Mammoth WVH. Definitely worth a listen.
I'll put that in my memory bank now.
Yeah. Well, put it in the memory bank, not the spank bank, you weirdo. But yeah, no.
What else here? What else is here in the chat? The Cosby Show.
They're doing now the top.
What's he doing? The top 10 here?
They're listing off the top 10 most watched series finales.
I did like All in the Family. You can get away with a lot on All in the Family. I love Sanford and Son, dude. That was my that was my show, man. You big dummy.
Look, some of those shows from back then, dude, you could never get away with what you got away with then. Now.
Oh, fuck no. Oh,
you could never remake Blazing Saddles.
No, you can't.
You could never remake All in the Family.
No.
Or the Jeffersons, by the way.
No.
You know?
You can't do anything. I was watching an 80s movie about 3 months ago. Excuse me. And what was I watching? What was I forget what movie it was, what movie it was, but anyway, so when the guy he's bringing his best friend home a lot because they're doing stuff, he's trying to make him cooler, and I forget what movie it was, but the husband turns to the wife after they run out of the house like all dressed up, and he said, "I think our son's a fruit." Now that you can't even say anymore, and I just said it, but you can't say that anymore. Like, what'd you say?
Weird Science?
No. What was it? Oh, you know what it was? Just One of the Guys, which I love.
Oh, okay. They remade that movie and it was terrible.
Yeah, I love that movie, though. I could watch it over and over, dude. Fucking Johnny Lawrence. He's always the heel. I love it. He's the bad guy in that one.
The Karate Kid, dude.
Damn
I think How I Met Your Mother legitimately spelled the fact that Johnny Lawrence was the hero and that Daniel LaRusso was the bully.
They have a whole show on YouTube about that.
I have no doubt.
I mean, think about it. If I'm at the beach and your girlfriend is there and you roll up on her and all you want to do is talk, and then he takes he does take the radio out of her hand, whatever. He didn't hit her. That's good. LaRusso comes over and says, "Yo, what's going on here?" And he tries to snatch the damn, the radio. Stay out of it. You know what I mean?
Sure. Like, what do you expect?
I mean, he's not, if he hit her, it's different, but they're just talking, they're arguing. Let them do their thing, dude. You're not going to get any butt out of this. It took him years to get butt out of it. Huh?
He's high school tough. TUFF.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'll tell you what.
Plus, he did have that Jersey accent in that first one. He's like, "Hey, what's going on here?"
And you don't hear it again. You don't even hear it in Cobra Kai.
Mm-mm.
It's legitimately like Southern California now. Hey,
how you doing, buddy? Yeah,
I'm Daniel LaRusso.
Yeah, how are you? Yeah,
thank you for calling Movie Phone.
LaRusso, you can't hate LaRusso. Dude. I don't hate LaRusso. I actually love that show. When I first watched Cobra Kai, I was like, Jesus Christ, like he's a car salesman. This is going to be terrible. Thankfully, I didn't turn it off because it's one hell of a show, and I love that show. And the last season's coming up. Eventually,
a couple weeks, I think. They just announced for Steel City Con Peyton List. who's on that show. Plays one of the girls in the Cobra Kai. She's going to be at Steel City Con with a couple of other folks from, including Kelsey Grammer from Cheers, bringing up Fraser Crane.
I do got to say that Johnny is holding the show down on the new episode, on the Cobra Kai episodes.
Oh, no doubt.
He's definitely holding it down on that. I think he's the main story, not really LaRusso. I mean, if you think about it, everything kind of revolves around Johnny, you know, and I love that aspect of it.
Yeah. So the one thing I'll point out tonight is that we're not doing loose cannon tonight. Couple reasons. There's just been too much going on. But second, wrestling's been pretty good for like the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
there's been a lot to develop.
And when we say wrestling, we're talking WWE. I still
don't acknowledge that.
Still turn on AEW for the cringe factor. I still do it. I still watch these big podcasters go out there and kiss AEW's ass, and then they talk shit about WWE every week. And these are the same guys who want storylines. So I'm so confused on these big two that I watch, podcasters on wrestling. And they're talking about they love story, but they love AEW. So I don't know what story they're following there besides a sinking ship. That's about all
The one thing I will give AEW credit on is they handled the Briscoe situation perfectly.
After the fact.
Well, but they went up against the owner, Time Warner.
Yeah.
But and legit got it pushed through. But I thought the show itself was handled perfectly, not the situation.
Yeah. The show they did was okay.
I didn't watch the whole show. I only watched like 2 segments.
Did you watch the last match with his brother?
Yeah. It's painful.
It is.
The show is painful. But yeah, look, T3's WWE's ratings are at an all-time high. They're riding the wave. We're going to see what Elimination Chamber looks like. I know Joe and I didn't get to do the watch along for the Royal Rumble because of a lot of things that were going on in our lives at the moment. So
I did do it. I was actually falling asleep on it that night because
you had a lot going on.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and I actually asked the guy. You know, I asked Dre. I was like, "Hey, man, do you mind deleting that because I'm sitting there fucking sleeping on the podcast." I was beat, man. It's been a terrible couple of weeks, man. So he was gracious enough to delete it. I said nobody's really going to watch that again anyway. It's a watch along, so no.
Maybe we should do it for the Elimination Chamber to make up for the fact we couldn't do it for.
We could do that. We can do that.
All right.
What is that? Not this Saturday, the following Saturday? I do like that they're doing Saturdays. I really love that.
Yeah, it does make our lives easier. Let's take a look. I don't think I have anything on the calendar. Football season will be over for me on Sunday.
We may still be celebrating.
No, probably not.
Nah, that's quick and easy. You won. See you later. Good night.
I'm literally like 50. I don't even think I'm going to get, if we win, I don't even think I'll get to go to the parade because of work. I'll be out of town.
I don't really want to go to the fucking parade. I hate all that shit. EC wants to join us. Yeah, dude. You're
absolutely.
You're welcome, brother.
Yeah, we could do a little watch along on the for the Elimination Chamber on that Saturday night and have a good old time.
We could do that on Well That Effing Figures or on here. It doesn't matter because I'm sure Dre would want to do it too.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I wouldn't want to exclude Dre because this was originally Dre's concept and it was funny as hell.
Yeah,
we had a lot of fun at your expense.
I don't back down from shit like that. I have my opinion. I don't want to watch that fucking that ruthless aggression crap. I still don't want to watch it.
You need a hug.
No, I hate that whole era. John Cena does nothing for me. He does nothing.
I'm gonna see you tomorrow. I give you a hug.
Well, we can still do that.
Well, $20 is $20.
I'm sure I'll get too many hugs tomorrow. That I don't,
Whoa.
Too many hugs.
T3's gonna bring the nachos. I love it. We can make this an event. I mean, look, I'll be honest. It could be funny. It could be fun just from the standpoint of I know we said before we were only going to do the big shows, like the Rumble and SummerSlam and WrestleMania, but it might be nice to do one since we hit the miss. And it
plus,
didn't go
this is kind of a big one. I mean, this sets up WrestleMania.
It is WrestleMania season. It is WrestleMania season, and I think it's I think it's a good opportunity for us to kind of dive in and help further along the storylines, or just pick shit apart. I don't think there'll be
Yeah.
any title changes, but at least it'll keep
Mm.
it interesting.
I can't picture them doing a title change with Roman. I just can't. Although Sammy and Cody would be one hell of a match. I can't lie about that, but I can't see them doing that right now. Roman, I'm not even 100% sure that Cody will win the belt at WrestleMania. They may want to go 1,000 days.
I'm 100% positive it's going to happen.
I'm about 99.9, but what if they threw a swerve and just dragged it on to SummerSlam? I don't know.
I don't say it.
They
I
are
don't say it.
bringing back the E3. They are bringing back the King of the Ring.
They had it back.
It's going to be its own pay-per. It's going to be its own pay-per-view, right? Again, I think.
Yep. But I don't remember if they're going to do it in June or what.
I think it's between WrestleMania and whatever that next one is.
So it would be
They cut a few of them out, so I'm not sure what that next one is. I know SummerSlam's too far out. There's got to be one more in between. I wish they'd put the Great American Bash in July like they used to do back in NWA. That would be cool.
We can look up the schedule. We'll run down what the big summer pay-per-views are. We'll run through, because I know there's probably some we won't be able to do because of vacations and things like that. But I definitely think that trying to set up some watch-alongs would be kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. Definitely WrestleMania. Definitely.
Oh, for sure, because we'll be together for WrestleMania again this year. Mm-hmm. Well, I wish we had done the watch-along when Cody popped out of the ramp, because Joe's reaction was literally, I thought it was like he came in his pants. Like literally, he was showing everybody his O face. It was like,
yeah, man. Look, two debuts, like the Bray Wyatt when we were at Extreme Rules too. I feel sorry for the guy in front of us there too, but
well, we really couldn't catch a good reaction. We were shoehorned in.
Yeah. I didn't take a breath until I think we got to Chichester Ave, and then I finally were able to breathe again.
Those seats are not made for husky folks.
No, we might have to rip the arm out of one of them and just pay for two next time, and then
you're gonna make it a love seat.
You can make it a love seat, brother. Love.
I like you, Joe. I like you, but I don't think about you.
Yeah, I don't want you to spoon me there. Well, we had two cool people there though, hanging out. We had two. You never know who you're going to sit next to. We had really two cool girls that were sitting next to us, and you can tell they've been watching wrestling a long time. They knew their shit, so that was cool.
The one girl's voice was deeper than Joe's.
Yeah.
I think she could have taken you in a fight, by the way.
I wouldn't fight her. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
All right, so we got about 2 minutes left in the show, so I guess we'll end it on this note that thank you all for watching. Thank you all for just watching us just kind of ramble on.
Me.
Well,
he loves me. See, you should be like that.
E3's gonna be Big Spoon then when we go out to visit for cons.
There you go.
Hey,
Big spoon, little spoon, just don't fork me.
Oh, good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Try the veal. So again, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Something that I think we both kind of needed tonight, just to blow off a little bit of steam. But thank you for listening to us ramble and participate and having a little bit of fun with us. And for those of you again that are just tuning in or catching up, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to be back 2 weeks from tonight with maybe a special guest. We don't know. These things just happen organically with us.
I'll find out.
But you're just going to have to tune in to find out. There's the hook.
She's a busy gal, so when she gets back to me, everybody will know.
Exactly.
It'll be the 21st or the 28th.
Exactly. So once again, thank you all for those of you that watched and endured this painful hour. Painful for you, not for us. We're doing this either way. This is our normal conversations. You're just watching it live.
Yeah. I don't text them with this bullshit.
Exactly. But once again, I'm Scott. He's Joe. We've been talking nerdy. Good night, everybody.
Good night.